Here we go, 6:30 p.m. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Indianapolis Marion County Public Library. Can we have a call of the roll? Present.
Dr. Matata.
Present.
Dr. Palacio.
Present.
Dr. Payne.
Present.
And Dr. Riolo.
Present.
We do have a quorum.
Excellent, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the February 2025 meeting of the Indianapolis Public Library Board of Trustees. My name's Ray Biederman, President of the Board of Trustees. Thank you for joining us tonight, live on stream and in person at our host branch here in West Perry. Thank you to the West Perry branch staff for welcoming us tonight. This is a wonderful branch. Actually, this is after my first meeting on the board. This just opened, and it was just a great time. My two little kids came and they ran off, but luckily all the staff was here to help corral them. Thank you very much. In just a moment, we'll hear the branch manager's report, but before we do, I'd like to take a quick moment and reflect on the incredible impact of this institution. I know my fellow board members have been doing the same in recent weeks. For those who do not know us, this board is made up of very passionate individuals. We have a common love of our community, a common belief in the power of education, and a common commitment to inclusivity. We believe in the fundamental right of free access to information without limitations. These values are not aspirations. They are the foundation on which the Indianapolis Public Library stands and has delivered to millions of Indianapolis residents for 151 years, and we will not step back. In times where organizations reflexively change to fit in, I notice the most enduring and successful organizations lean into what differentiates them from others. The Indianapolis Public Library embraces its unique position as a vital, indispensable service with a significant presence in neighborhoods across our city, making our community stronger and more vibrant. At the Indianapolis Public Library, we offer opportunities for people of all ages, backgrounds, and abilities, from the youngest pre-readers to those learning a new language. The Indianapolis Public Library is a space for everyone, where curiosities are satisfied and the pursuit of learning is limitless. The Indianapolis Public Library connects people with resources, free resources, that ignite a lifelong love of reading, discovery, and personal and professional growth. There is something for everyone at the Indianapolis Public Library, quite literally. Just this past weekend, I went to the Central Branch, and I saw a Cultural New Year festival. I saw the Lunar New Year Festival, a nonprofit seminar, children's games, all while trying to check out a Dogman book. In addition to that, Franklin Road Branch had its 25th year celebration. So there's great things across the system. I asked the board members to think back, remembering the first time that they discovered the world of books in a library. Wandering through the stacks, seeing endless choices of titles on the shelf, the old card catalog, or even the online catalog. Moreover, and indispensable, is the value of the professional librarians and library staff who personalize the experience. The staff can help you look up any question you have and direct you to reference materials, databases, workshops, and even resources outside of our system. Thank you for taking a moment to reflect on the Indianapolis Public Library and what we do for the community. And remember that nearly 290,000 individuals value that we are a hub of learning and inclusivity. And those 290,000 individuals are current Indianapolis Library cardholders. Now let's turn our attention to one of the knowledgeable librarians, and I invite Ms. Lindsay Haddix, Branch Manager of West Perry Branch, to share a report. Thank you.
You hear me okay? Okay. President Biederman, members of the Library Board, welcome to West Perry Branch.
Thank you.
So we're a couple years old now. This branch opened July 16th, 2021. The 2015 to 2020 strategic plan wanted to maximize access for all Marion County residents to libraries. And in this area, there was a service gap in between the Decatur branch and the Southport branch. So the Fountain Square branch closed, and some of the staff from Fountain Square came to work here. And then we had some new staff because it was a much bigger building and very beautiful building, as you can see. It's won a lot of architectural awards, and everybody that walks in the doors loves it. So, and we can go to the next slide. So, as you can see, we have some photos here of our staff. I'm the branch manager. We have Claudine Polly, our circulation supervisor over there. She's my second in command. She helps out a lot and keeps everybody welcome that comes in the branch. We have 2 full-time public services librarians, 1 juvenile and 1 adult. We have a full-time public services associate too, who is a juvenile person, works with kids mostly. And we have a part-time public services associate who focuses on adult programming. Then we have a lot of other part-time circulation staff. We have a full-time library assistant too. We have 2 part-time computer assistant twos. We have a couple hourly people that help us fill in gaps, and they help us out a lot. We have 4 pages, which they're really important, keeping this branch organized and up and running. And we also have a full team of volunteers that helps us out with lots of different things. They help with the pull list in the morning. I'll talk about some of my other ways that they help us out a lot. We all work as a team here. You can see some of the photos up there that we have. I would say this staff is definitely a big family. We work as a team together. If somebody's out sick at the circulation desk, we'll go up there. Us librarians will go up and help with them. We try our best with all the circulation duties, but try to cross-train staff to ensure that nobody's finding themselves shorthanded. We all work together, make sure all bases are covered. We also sometimes have our circulation staff either be in a program or have input with a program, so they can use some of their other creative skills. One of our default mascot, one of the employees that does not work at this branch anymore, he came up with we are known as the pangolins. You can look it up after you leave here what a pangolin is. It's kind of like an armadillo, I believe, kind of. So anyways, one of the fun things we like to do, our creative staff comes up with fun ways to keep kids engaged when they come in the library. So if you see in the top left corner, that's a missing photo for Perry the pangolin, and every week we move that around, and kids can come in and look for Perry all over the library. We move him each week, and they can come in and find him, and they get a special sticker for finding him. So we find fun ways to keep kids engaged in the library. Sometimes we have scavenger hunts. We want them to come in and have a good time and check out books and go to our programs and everything, but we find different ways to keep them engaged and coming back. So other things I would mention, you can see one thing, our branch, we really value sustainability and ecological themes. So we have some native plant spaces that we've worked on over the past couple of years to help beautify our branch, but also help the native plants thrive, and it's good for the environment. So we also have, as you can see, our beautiful children's area. That's in the fall that this photo was taken, so you can see kind of the foliage. But that area is very popular with our families in the area. It's bustling, and it's a really nice place to be, to see families come together and check out books and hang out and read books to their kids and do all kinds of things. In the bottom right, you'll see customer service interaction. We really value customer service here and go do whatever we can to help our patrons find the materials that they like and help them with any way they can. If they're not sure how to use our self-check, we help them with that. So, next slide. This is who we serve, so you can see some stats here. We have, I want to make a correction, the branch profile has the wrong population number on it, but this is the correct population for, as of 2022 is Stabby. So 55,197 people in our area. As you can see, it's, we have a pretty large Asian population in this area. 20%, 8% African American, 10% Hispanic, and 62% non-Hispanic white. As you can see, our population has gone up over the years, so that you can see that's why there would be a need for a library in this area. It's dipped a little bit the last year, but still has grown a lot over the years. As you can see, the languages, mostly English, some Spanish, and then there's a fair amount of Burmese languages in this area. So we have, that community is, they have a lot of different languages, even within the Chin community, which is the most prevalent community in our area. One of the organizations in the area was trying to do a survey of trying to figure out all the different languages, even within the Chin community, that the people speak, because there's a lot of variations. So we try to reach out to all our audiences. I mentioned some of our partnerships. We partner a lot with Perry Township Schools. We have outreach and events here with them. We work closely with the Burmese American Community Institute to host programs for their community. We also go to some of their events to get the name out, our word out about the library to their community more and bring people back here. We worked with Franciscan Health Network to have some health screenings and other things that would help with our community. The Excel Center, we have an outreach event. We go there for their younger child, their preschool classes. We visit there once a month, and we also are working with their adult education program to help make sure that their adults that are maybe thinking of a new career, trying to get their feet out there in a career, will have the benefits of the library. We became an adopt-a-block last year with Keeping Indianapolis Beautiful, so that's part of our sustainability. We want to beautify the space and keep it clean. So we work hard to ensure that our grounds and it's the area from Southport Road to right up to the trees up here. That's our block. So we ensure that it stays clean and keep the trash to a minimum. So make sure that people come here and, nobody likes to see trash anyways, but so try and keep our space nice and clean inside and out. So we got the second highest rating for most of the months that we've been in KIB program, and we got they gave us a tree because of that. So that was really nice. We can add a new tree to our grounds out here. So we partner with IMPD Southwest District and a Girl Scout troop too. A Girl Scout troop has helped us out a lot with our our native plant program. Last year they came and watered, and they donated some of their own plants that they purchased and helped tend the garden so they could help complete one of their badges. So it was really nice to have them. So as you can see, our population has gone up. And the other notable thing, if you notice about the internet usage, the broadband internet availability in our area, it's a little higher than the county average of internet in homes. So we are a little unique here, where we have people coming more to use the Wi-Fi to work and study, and the public computer use, it's more for like printing and things, but most people have internet in their home, so it's a little different than some branches where people coming to the internet, but we have people more using our space for working, studying, co-working, and families checking out books and attending our programs. So that's a little different than some other branches I'm sure you've been to. So next slide, please. So as you can see, this is how we serve. We had 1,121 new registered borrowers last year, and that was a little bit down from the year before, but we're trying to still reach other pockets of the community that we haven't reached yet. We have our physical item circulated last year went up 13% from the year before, so that's great. We also have the holds lockers, which is unique. We're the only branch that has the holds lockers, so they are we're the learning experience there sometimes with them because they can be a little particular with the software. So the locker holds went up 8% last year. The amount of locker holds circulated, so people really like them, and more people have found out about them. And our programs, we had 308 programs last year with 8,500 some people participating, and that went up 9% since the year before, so that's great. And our study rooms, as I mentioned, they are very popular. We have 4 study rooms here, and sometimes it's juggling them, so they're very heavy use here. So they went up 3% since the year before, so. And you can see, so I have some photos here. There's story time. Story time is typically in this room, but I think we had a special story time that day. And story time is very popular here. So Miss Shelby and Miss Robin do a great job working together on that and keeping all the kids engaged. And parents and everybody coming back, and they have like a big fan base, basically. And in the corner there, another draw we are for adults. Crafting is very big here, so we have some dedicated crafters that love our programming and just coming here and taking advantage of anything we have.
Somebody's back there snapping.
Yes. You're going to hear from some of them in a little bit. And in the bottom corner, that's in the teen area, but that's just a man that's using our space to study. We have a lot of workers and studiers here. And in the bottom right, you can see our holds lockers. So they look a little different but yeah, kind of look like a little Amazon locker, but they have the screen there. So, yep, those are some unique things about us. So we'll go to the next page. And this is the most exciting part, I think, of our branch, the programs we have. We have great programs for all ages. You can read on there, but story time is Wednesdays and Thursdays. Tyler story time, we had to add another session last year because we had so many people coming to it. So we had to add another one to make it inclusive for everyone and not overwhelming for our staff and for participants. And our preschool story time has grown as well because the toddlers have graduated to preschool, so that's real popular. We have our STEAM team for homeschoolers in the top right corner. That's a photo from the STEAM team program. We had a special presenter guest, I would say, that session. And you can see the little boys there looking at a honeycomb. We had a beekeeper that actually came, and she brought a bee suit and put it on, and the kids got to see the hive and everything. So it was really neat and fascinating to get them to see and witness that and how to take care of bees. So yes, we have Everyday Artists is another program that started last year, and it's for 8 and up, but each month it's a chance for the participants to learn a new art skill, and we have adults that come to it, school-age kids, families, so it's a really nice all-ages kind of program, except for the little ones, but it's really nice, popular program. We have teen programming here. We have a teen advisory board that meets twice a month, and they also help plan programs for other teens. So we have quarterly, we'll have a program that they plan, and with help from our staff, but they pretty much plan it, and we get the supplies and make sure they have everything they need for it. And at the bottom middle picture is a photo of some of our teen advisory board. We had a gingerbread house competition. This was the second year for it, but it was backed by popular demand. They organized all of it, and we had different categories, and you could win. There was like 3 different categories I think you could win, but it was a really fun program. We have our gardening group, which is very popular. They've been going strong. They meet once a month, and our gardeners get involved with a lot of other things. They help pack seeds for the seed library. They exchange ideas about different ways to garden and get ideas out and help other new gardeners as well as experienced gardeners. So we have all levels, and they also help a lot with our native plant garden as well. In the bottom left, you'll see a picture, on the right, I'm like back up. On the right is a photo from the December gardening group program, where everybody brings cuttings from their bushes or trees, and they make holiday wreaths or door hangers. Fun. So anyways, that's a whole lot of programs. So on the bottom left is one of a basket weaving program that we had that was a Chin cultural craft, so people could learn about a traditional Chin craft. So, and we also have citizenship classes here. So we have lots of different programs. So I know that I run the gamut of all the different types of programs we have and all the unique things we have here. So it's really a very nice place to work, and I enjoy working with the community and helping everyone every day. And I just had all the staff pitches in and uses their creativity and their intellect to help everybody that comes in the store.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Any questions or comments from the board?
Yes. How do you spell? You said Perry the what?
Perry the pangolin. So Perry is P-E-R-R-Y.
I know how to spell Perry. I'm talking about.
Yeah, pangolin, P-A-N-G-O-L-I-N.
I love
I
it.
know. Got a name.
And I love the fireplace out there. We were sitting there talking and reading. You just have a bunch of everything. The study room, the teen advisory board, most impressive. Now the headshot studio, so people can just come in there and.
Yeah, we have had that once before last year, and they're having it again in April. So for people that are, a lot of times now, a lot of employers like you to have a
Yeah.
headshot, either on your resume or just in general. So
Yeah.
we have a headshot studio. I have an employee who, her sidekick is, she's a photographer, but yeah,
That's
so
great.
but this is on her own.
This is a perfect
kind of thing.
example.
So somebody can come in and get a headshot for free, and it gets sent to them, and yeah. So
Well,
it's very nice.
congratulations to you
Thank
and
you.
your staff. Really, this is a
Thank you so much.
perfect example of what a library should be about for the community. So thank you for
so
all your
much.
hard work.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
And I echo that. Thanks for everything you're doing here and everything that the staff is doing here. I'd always have fun coming here and looking at everything that's going on. How do you count the number of participants, and how long is each program, or what's the minimum amount of time to count as a program?
Good question. I mean, the story times, it depends on the age, but they're usually at least a half hour. The toddler time, the second one, we have a little like casual social time where they can, play with toys and things like that. But the kids programs, usually at the most, they're the younger ones, probably at the most like 45. But we typically have to count. We usually have, for the kids programs, we usually have at least one staff member and a volunteer in there, and usually the volunteer will count the people, or the second staff member will just keep track of,
If it's recurring, do you count every time they come, every day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because we have to put those into our, activities database, count how many, And sometimes we try and keep track of who's come back, but we don't always do it.
And how many average do we have come into the STEAM homeschool?
Steam, I think she probably like 12 to 15, I think.
Families?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Please.
Congratulations to some really innovative activities, so thanks for doing that. Do you have a sense of why the study rooms are so popular, and is there a way to accommodate more growth? It seems like you've already overgrown your space.
Well, yeah, that's probably the growth would be probably for facilities, but we do, we try, and what we do is we limit it 2 hours per person or try to per group, but if there's a larger group, sometimes we do allow for more time, but we try and limit it to 2 hours per person and group just to, so everybody can use them and it's not one group the whole day. Also, the kids area, the acoustics, the way it was designed, it is designed so the sound traps some to a point. If you look, those leaves there were actually designed to keep sound in, so that does help some in the kids areas in the back. But it's a lot of days you walk in here and all the tables are full with people working and studying, and a lot of teens they'll like to go back. They'll go back in the teen area if there's not a study room, but yeah. So we have other places but yeah, I know, we probably could have more study rooms.
Are they used the whole time that the library is open, or is there really a lot of downtime? No.
Well, it depends. It goes up and down. Sometimes the mornings aren't busy, and then they'll pick up in the middle of the day. Later in the day, it's a lot of, making sure that we have to stick to our parameters of the limit. Or it can be a little bit juggling, especially it was in December, college finals week and high school finals week was the same time period. So we really were kind of juggling there. We have a management system that kind of helps us keep it organized, but but they're very popular. Yeah.
Excellent. And any others? No? All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, next is public comment. The public has been invited to the board meeting. We welcome feedback from the public about our Indianapolis libraries, and at this time in the meeting, the public may address the library board. If there are several individuals representing the same group, please select a spokesperson. Please do not repeat the same comments someone else has offered. Please note that public comment is not the appropriate forum for commenting on matters related to employee charges, employee complaints, or alleged employee misconduct. Any such matters should be brought promptly to the attention of the CEO or Human Resources Department, where matters can be addressed properly in compliance with established library policies and procedures. A 5-minute limit will be allowed for each speaker. Each speaker should give their name and state if they're speaking on behalf of a group. Ms. Gilbert, do we have public comment today?
Yes, Mr. President, we do. We have the first one up will be Eileen Sandu from Stitch Around the Table, and then after that we'll have Jenny Lee from the Garden Club.
Thank you. Welcome.
First off, I'd just like to, my name is Eileen Sandu. Going to talk about Around the Stitching Table. And first, I would like to thank all of our librarians for supporting us in all the different programs they do here. This is a wonderful library. It's very interactive, and we have even, the groups that I attend, word of mouth has spread and people come from across the city to attend programs here. It's very, very well run. And I want to in addition to the librarians, I want to thank the library board and also the Library Foundation for all of the funding and the providing of the programs that we all enjoy here. And I wanted to say that it's not just the one program, the number of people that attended on that day. It's almost like each program is like a pebble that you throw in a pond and the ripples that go out from it. I attended a meditation session, and from that meditation session was enjoying learning about self-care, the community in that room. But after those weeks were over, from spending that time devoted to the other people in the group, there were several of us that at the end of the last night, we didn't want the sessions to end. So through the course of talking to each other, we learned that several of us either knit or crochet. So we decided, well, will just come next week again, and we'll bring our knit and crochet, and we'll just sit and talk and knit and crochet. We reserved a study room. We did that every week. And then everybody invited a friend, and then their friend invited a friend, and our group grew. We've been doing this now, I've lost track, probably, it's over a year, maybe going on 2, I lost track. But we have usually about at least 9 or 10 regulars every week. We have another 4 or 5 that come one week, skip a couple weeks, come another. The library has been very generous, and they've actually made an official program. The Around the Stitching Table, we have a display in the lobby. Apparently it's been very popular with everyone. And we've had new people join us since the display went up. And as far as the ripples, it's not just me bringing my crochet and make my hat. Through the group of ladies I crochet with, men are welcome, but we haven't had anyone yet. I have found out, another lady, she, through a church group, they crochet and knit items. They sell it at a fair. The proceeds go to a food pantry. Another lady I crochet with, she crochets items for a food pantry. Another lady, she was asked by a church to teach teens and young kids how to knit and crochet, and they're doing wonderfully. Our whole group, any supplies we have at home that are extra, we donate to her. She teaches more people. We buy things for her, supplies to give to the kids. And we have a girl in our group, a lady, that she supports animal shelters with making dog blankets. So, like I said, it's like a ripple effect. It's not just the activity here at the library, but we are branching out into the community as a whole. And I just think that says a lot about the library, and that the worth of the library is even more than what's generally apparent on somebody's, little boxes that you tick off. And thank you.
Thank you. Jenny Lee from the Garden Club.
Welcome. Hello.
Feel free to cut me off if I start rambling too long. I'm Jenny Lee, lifelong Southsider and member of the Indianapolis Marion County Public Library. I used to be at Southport, but when they opened West Perry, it's a little bit closer to my house, so I'm here now. I'm here a lot, like a lot. Monday meditation, soon to be yoga in a couple of weeks. Here every Tuesday, or almost every Tuesday for Stitch Around the Table, formerly Yarn Guild. Once a month for Crafternoons, once a month for a garden club. Garden club was my gateway program because I had heard about it. I was like, well, maybe next month. And then I kept putting it off, and when I finally went, I was like, oh my gosh, this is essential. This is so good. We meet once a month, and I started attending because I wanted to transform my lawn into more of a garden. It's like something that's actually going to give back to the environment. And through the garden group, I've been able to do that. I grow native plants now. I grow my own food, mostly tomatoes. But it's just been wonderful. The library is absolutely essential for me. I have a job that takes me out of town for like 6 to 9 months at a time in different places. And the first thing I always do is 2 things. 1 is get a local library card. 2 is go visit grocery stores because I like to see what regional, things like that. Every time I get a library card in a different city, and this is across the country and also outside of the country. I always say Mojadas is compared to Indianapolis, and out of all those places, no one has ever come close to Indianapolis. Seriously, big cities. Indianapolis Marion County Public Library is amazing. I recently heard about the concept of third place, and I didn't know that before. And when I was reading up on that, I was like, oh my God, West Perry is my third place. This is amazing. The community that I have met here, my ladies at the Yarn Group, we're all strangers, and now we're all friends, and I cherish them. Last year, it had always had been on my list to try to learn how to crochet. I was like, oh no, I can't do it. Tried online, didn't work, yada yada. And then I saw one of the programs, which was Stitch Some Support at Southport, and it said no experience necessary. So I attended, and one of the gals there, who's also part of the Yarn Guild, she taught me how to crochet, and now I can crochet, and it's amazing. It's just so fulfilling. The programs at the library give you such confidence, because I feel like sometimes the hardest part when you want to learn a new skill is that first step, right? But through the programs here, it gives you the confidence to be like, oh, you know what? It's not so hard, and I can do this. Calligraphy, weaving, basket weaving. Last year, I think I attended every single gardening workshop or program that the library offered. So much knowledge. It's so great. I have so much love for the library in my heart. I just can't. I'm just like bursting with it. I just love it so much. And you guys, so thank you, because I don't know where I'd be without it. And especially this branch and our librarians here, love them so much. I only have one request. I know that there's a plan to sunset the physical DVDs within the library. I'm asking if you would reconsider. No, there's no plan to do that?
We're looking at the person who would handle that.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, and here's why. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, so here's my examples why. I know there's so many different streaming programs that you can sign up for. But sometimes, okay, so for example, the other day, like 2 weeks ago, Father of the Bride from 1991 was on TV. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's such a good movie. And then I found out that it's actually based on a 1950s movie with Spencer Tracy and Elizabeth Taylor. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to see the original. So I was trying to find out where it was streaming. It wasn't streaming anywhere. And I was like, well, let's see if the library has it. And you guys did. And I requested it, picked it up at the locker after hours because I kind of forgot. It was like, oh, I have to pick it up by today. Got it after hours, watched it with my mom. It was fabulous. That has happened so many times with the library DVDs. Weird, random things that are just not streaming anywhere else are always available here. Like 99 out of 100 times, I'll find it at the library here. So, love it so much. So thank you so much. I love the library.
That concludes the speakers, Mr. President.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you for those lively discussions. All right. Now let's move on to the business of the board. Approval of minutes. So there was a regular meeting on January 27th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held January 27th, 2025?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, can we have a call of the roll?
Mr. Biederman.
Approved?
Dr. Murtada.
Approved.
Dr. Palacio.
Approve.
Dr. Payne.
Approved.
And Dr. Riolo.
Abstain. I
All
wasn't
right.
here.
Sure. Motion carried. Let's move on to the Finance Committee. So let's invite Lolita. There you go. And Ms. Rankin and Ms. Campbell, thank you very much.
We should have everyone make a commercial for us. Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Tonight we will review the January 2025 financials. I will review the revenue, and Mary will review the expenditures. And I'm sorry if I sound a little congested, but it's one of those days. So for January, we received $631,078. That is about 1% of our budget, and our budget is $57,472,163. We typically receive our property taxes, in May and November, but we're expected to receive some in April and May coming up, and that's just a portion of it. And then for our intergovernmental, we receive a co-ed and LOED for that category. And then for charges of services, we receive the public printing, and that was an amount of $27,872. And then for our miscellaneous income, for our interest, we received $163,799, and our Hoosier Fund is at 4.52%, and Trust Indiana is at 4.39%. At this point, it looked like we only received 1%, but again, this is normal, and we should be at 8%, but again, it will catch up in June. This next slide will show a slope graph of the same information that I provided. And you'll see again that the property taxes is low, and then the remaining of it, it rises in the intergovernmental category, and it's I can't think right now. It is stagnant at the other for fines and fees. It's straight across. And then the next one is the year-to-date revenue. And the orange, the light orange or yellow orange is the budget, and the darker orange is the 2024 year-to-date, and the blue is the 2025 year-to-date revenue. You have any questions in regards to the revenue?
No question.
Okay. Mary will review the expenditure. Good evening. On the expenditure side, we do have a higher amount in personal services and benefits. This was because we had 3 pays in January. So it was like we were paid the 3rd, the 14th or 17th, and the 31st. So 3 pays. The supplies are consistent, and the other services and charges are favorable and under budget. Capital outlay was quite low because we hadn't begun paying most of the book invoices at that time. They have a separate system for those to be inventoried, and then they flow to accounting. So with the budget, getting that going takes a bit in January. And then there's a graph presentation of the same information on the next slide. Yeah. So this compares the blue is January of 2025. The orange is the same period last year, and the gray is the budget. And the blue is higher for personal services than last year because we did have that extra pay in January. Supplies are showing pretty even, and then you can see that we're quite under budget for the other things. Where'd it go? Okay. Yes. Then of the year-to-date, which is just presenting in a line form, the same information because it's just 1 month so far, so. It shows that we're under budget except for that personal services, just because we're presenting the budget month to month at the same amount, but we had 3 pays. So, any questions on expenses?
Just one quick question. You noted low book invoices. Is that specific for January?
Yes.
And this is the only time, really, that we have the low book invoice?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we,
Jen-
accounting to roll over the budget, and then we roll over our Polaris computer system. And then we start rolling after all that gets approved. So
Gotcha.
in January, we start third week of the month.
Got it. Thank you.
And it's the same as last month. We have a new fiscal year, and we're in our pre-audit season. Any questions?
There we go. I was looking for that graphic. There we go. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to accept the report of the treasurer for January 2025 for filing for audit?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we will now have a call of the roll.
Mr. Biederman.
Approve?
Dr. Matata.
Approved.
Dr. Palacio.
Approved.
Dr. Payne. And Dr. Riolo.
Approved.
It has passed. Thank you very much. All right, and thank you both. Now, let's see, moving to the Diversity Policy Human Resources Committee. Dr. Palacio, anything to report for this meeting?
Thank you. So we don't have any resolutions this time, but we started reviewing the policies that are being reviewed on an annual schedule, and we started with how the library's position itself in case encounters with law enforcement, and that's being reviewed, edited, and all the staff is being informed of the policy, especially as we're seeing raids and all that kind of stuff happening kind of random. So want to be prepared for that. And after that review, we found that it was we're in a very good place for keeping everybody safe and protected. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Then let's move on to the Facilities Committee.
Of course we have resolutions. We are the Facilities Committee. What do you expect? Adam, would you please present those to us?
Okay, good evening. Can everybody hear me okay? Great. So we have three resolutions, resolutions 8, 9, and 10. I do not have slides for 10, but I will walk you through everything that was in your board packet. For the moment, we have Resolution 8. There's my screen. Approval to award a fixtures, furniture, and equipment, also known as FF&E, contract for the Central Library Learning Curve renovation shelving project. So the Learning Curve is undergoing renovation, floors 2 and 3. Some shelving will be reused, but we will need much new shelving, which is this contract. This was an invitation to bid. Wait a minute. Is that right? There we go. Sorry. It was an invitation to bid. We did send out the public notice twice as required. We sent notice directly to 34 vendors and business development organizations, 6 of whom were XBE businesses. It was posted on the website. We submitted it to Reprographics, and we held a pre-bid conference on the 24th. So this is an invitation to bid process. We received 2 bids, and the lowest responsive and responsible bidder was KPC Architectural Products, Inc. So resolutions 8 and 9 are kind of sister resolutions. One is for shelving, one is for furniture, other FF&E. So combined, which you'll see once we get to Resolution 9, they total less than the expected project line item budget of $750,000. Combined, they are $594,000. Shelving in and of itself was $295,925.02. And this will be funded by the existing bond fund for the Curve project, 489. No, I think 487 is actually correct. But I apologize for the wrong bond fund, but it is a line item in the existing bond fund for the central project. KPC Architectural Products is a WBE enterprise, and they will self-perform, or rather supply 100% of the shelving. Just to recap that facilities currently now operational services was at approximately 31% of XBE utilization through the bulk of last year, with our current goal is a combined 27% across all 4 individual XBE goals. The shelving, FF&E, expected to arrive in March, and the 2 East section, which is the audiovisual and additional collections, is expected to open in Q1 of this year. Any questions about Resolution 8?
Any questions? Okay, it's my understanding that Resolution 8-2025 regarding the approval to award furniture, furnishings, and equipment contract for the Central Library Learning Curve renovation shelving project, that's a long name, received a positive recommendation from the Facilities Committee, so the chair would request a second to such recommendation.
Second.
All right, any discussion?
Yes. Do we need to amend the 489 to 487 fund?
I don't believe so. I don't think it was included in the resolution. I had it on the wrong slide. I had it wrong on the slide, not in the actual resolution.
It's in the informational stuff. I don't see it in the resolution itself.
Excellent. All right, very good.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Thank you for that. Let's have a call of the roll. Approve?
Dr. Matata.
Approved.
Dr. Palacio.
Approved.
Dr. Payne.
Approved.
And Dr. Riolo.
Approved.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to the next resolution.
Resolution 9 is approval to award an FF&E contracts, plural, for the Central Library Learning Curve renovation project. So, undergoing renovation, and we need new furniture. Again, this was an invitation to bid with a public notice, 31 vendors and organizations on our website, on Reprographics, and we had a pre-bid conference as well. This was a combined pre-bid conference for both the shelving and the furniture. This was an invitation to bid. We received 3 bids. For furniture, our standard process is to take the lowest responsive and responsible bidder by line item. That's a standard process across the industry. And so that's why we're awarding to 2 companies. Commercial Office Environments and Office Works combined had the lowest line items. The 3rd bidder did not have any of the lowest line items. So for furniture, the total cost is $298,884.05. Again, this is out of 487. I apologize. And again, the combined cost is is within budget, less than the line item max. So 2 companies, 24% MBE, 76% WBE, for a total of 100% across XBE for almost $300,000. Again, expected to arrive in March, at least for the 2 East sections. The other furniture will arrive as the same with the shelving, as the other phases complete, and 2 East is scheduled to reopen this quarter.
No? All right. Sorry, I stole your line last time.
This resolution did receive a due pass out of committee and recommends.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm sorry about last time. All right. Resolution 9-2025 regarding the approval to award a furniture, fixture, furnishings, and equipment contract for the Central Library Learning Curve renovation project received a positive recommendation from the Facilities Committee, so the chair would request a second to such a recommendation.
Second.
It has been seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, can we have a call of the roll?
Mr. Peterman.
Approve.
Dr. Matata.
Approved.
Dr. Palacio.
Approved.
Dr. Payne.
Approved.
And Dr. Riolo.
Approved.
Thank you.
All right, motion carried. Let's move on to the next one.
And I apologize, I don't have slides, and as long as we're saying sorry for stealing lines, I stole your lines. Your line about asking questions, that is not my line, that is yours.
It's okay, these things happen.
So the next resolution is Resolution 10-2025, which is approval to award a contract for parking lot paving at Pike Branch Project. This was an invitation to quote. The estimated cost was between $50,000 and $150,000. So we are following the Public Works Code of our Indiana Code, which requires solicitation of three quotes. We sent out solicitations directly to, I believe, 12 individual businesses, 6 of whom were XBEs. All of this information is in the BAR resolution. And we received one quote from Globe Paving. They have worked with us before. The expected budget was $95,000. They submitted a quote that was $82,750. So within budget. They are not an XBE, and they submitted that they would self-perform all of the work. So there were no XBEs on this particular project. Again, they have worked with the library before and have provided satisfactory product, or satisfactory service, I should say.
This resolution did receive a due pass out of committee and recommends approval from the board.
Excellent. Resolution 10-2025 regarding the approval to award a purchase order for the Pike Branch Paving Project. Say that 3 times fast. Received a positive recommendation from the Facilities Committee, so the chair would request a second.
Second.
It's been seconded. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, let's have a call of the roll.
Mr. Peterman.
I have to abstain. I believe that I work for a company that is associated with that company, so I'm just going to abstain on that basis.
Dr. Matata.
Approved.
Dr. Palacio.
Approved.
And Dr. Payne. And Dr. Riolo.
Approved.
All right.
Just for the record, I think that would be a recusal.
I'm sorry. Recuse. I recuse. I messed up 3 times today. Man.
You know what that means.
Yeah, I'm fired. Yeah, here you go. All right. The motion carried. Thank you very much for your update, and thank you for the report. Let's move on to the Library Foundation update. Dr. Riolo.
The Library Foundation Board of Directors did approve their 2025 to 27 strategic plan. And they were very satisfied with the turnout and the success of the Meet the Artist event a couple of weeks ago. What else? Remember that Circulate is coming up, the big fundraiser, and we do encourage everyone to come. It's a very, very fun event. It will be May 9th at Central, and you can find tickets online. And they want to thank 253 donors who made gifts this past month. Our top corporate and foundation donors to the foundation are AARP Indiana, Barnes & Thornburg, LLP, Blue & Company, Charles Schwab Foundation, FHL Bank in Indianapolis, Herons & Company, Indiana Education Savings Authority, Indiana Trust Wealth Management, Kiwanis Foundation of Indianapolis, Lind, Microsoft, PNC Foundation, Ritz-Charles, Shrewsbury & Associates, and Stens Corporation. They did provide more than $100,000 to the library this past month for major initiatives like preschool package programs, adult summer reading programs, teen community book club, and global citizens. Very successful.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on to the report of the CEO, Mr. Gregory Hill.
All right. right. Good evening, Board President, community, staff. I have the one resolution, 11-2025, is related to financial travel and personnel matters that occurs between each board meeting. It is in its typical format, and I would ask for your approval.
11-2025 regarding finances, personnel, and travel.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Resolution 11-2025 has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's have a call of the roll.
Mr. Biederman.
Approve?
Dr. Matata.
Approved.
Dr. Palacio.
Approved.
Dr. Payne.
Approved.
And Dr. Riolo.
Approved.
Thank you.
Oh, all right, thank you. Next, I'll have the CEO report. In your board package, you have the full report. This report will cover the previous 30 days of the Indianapolis Public Library. We will discuss on our agenda an average day, staff recognition, a program review, NDPO in the media, accessibility workstations, and upcoming events. So starting on your upper left, we have physical circulation. For an average day in the month of January, we had 15,303 items that were circulated, and that's physical material. The top circulating branch for the month of January was the Glendale branch at 49,656, Central Library 33,370, and the Michigan Road branch 33,118. Study room bookings, we had 125. New card holders, 152. We offered 19 programs on any given day in the month of January. And the attendance at those programs was 324. We welcomed 5,490 visitors, and the top branches with visits were Glendale with 14,575, Michigan Road 10,284, and College Avenue branch with 8,077. So that's your average typical day in the month of January. Next, I'd like to do staff recognition. Again, the Star Awards recognizes our staff. There are several categories to be nominated in. They're nominated by staff. And then here are our award winners. Let me go back. Other duties assigned is Consuela Zavala. Peer support is Michelle Patterson. Team excellence is the shipping and receiving. And patron services, Moshia Scott. Page excellence is Kayla Hill and Jeff Tatum. And then volunteer and partnerships is Nicole Sewell, Monica Pipes, and Michael Smith. A round of applause for our And next, I'd like to highlight some of our programs that we had in the month of January, and I've selected 3 locations. The first one is Spades Park. Spades Park delivered 5 story times in January that averaged approximately 26 participants for each program, which is double their average that they normally receive. In January, they talked about favorite colors, penguins, fruits, vegetables, and snowy weather. They have also partnered with Paramount Brookside Middle School to display student art. So far, they have displayed 15 different pieces of art. And it's kind of similar to what was happening at the Decatur branch. They would have a Decatur art show where all the schools would display their artwork at the Decatur branch. And sometimes we'd have upwards to 100 pieces that were displayed at any given time. College Avenue, the librarians there have taken over, the new librarian there, has taken over the weekly story time program and had over 100 participants in attendance. And their offering was Mother Goose on the Loose, Sit Baby Story Time. And this event was attended by 231 people. College Avenue also is offering computer-assisted in-house computer classes. They had 12 participants who participated in the in-house computer classes. These classes are in addition to the ones that are provided by the Tech Learning Team. East Washington, they wanted me to mention that this was particularly memorable programming experience that they had with their recent visit to the Westminster Community Center, the after-school program. The program was centered around the Lunar New Year's, and kids made red and dragon-themed lanterns. And the librarian wanted me to mention that the kids were very happy to see them when they come on their regular visits. So good job, East Washington. Adult programs. PDA, we had Meet Your Neighbor. The Meet Your Neighbor series is a partnership with leaders in the immigrant and refugee space. In January, PDA kicked off the 2025 series with the Refugee 101 presentation by Exodus Refugee. A total of 25 participants joined the online discussion to learn about the protections and services available. They also had the naturalization ceremonies to celebrate new citizens. The ceremonies happen about 2 times every month at the Central Library. This event, held in partnership with U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service, is the last step immigrants take before they become U.S. citizens. We held 2 ceremonies in January that welcomed 426 new citizens. The financial literacy workshop was offered and focused on preparing for tax season, and this was held at 5 separate locations. College Avenue, the dementia-friendly business training through IU. Staff participated in an hour-long training module about dementia. The training covered awareness and simple things to do that are helpful to the patrons of the college branch. Once 50% of the staff completed the training, the branch received a certificate as a dementia-friendly location. The Chess Club. The Chess Club has been meeting at college for several years. In January, they had 44 participants who attended the programming. So that's just a selection of programs for the adult side and then a selection of programs from the youth services side. So a lot of programs.
Tremendous.
So across the system, we had 170 adult programs. This is for the month of January. Adult programs encompasses adults and seniors, and we had 1,747 participants. On the youth side of programs, we had 391, which includes infants, babies, and toddlers, and participation was 8,257. NDPL in the media. So in your board packet, there's about, 15 or so different links for media events, but I'll cover these 3 here. NDPL was selected for the National Cybersecurity Pilot Program. The Federal Communications FCC has chosen the Indianapolis Public Library to participate in the Schools and Libraries Cybersecurity Pilot Program. The FCC has approved and awarded the Indianapolis Public Library $525,000 in funding for the NDPL Cybersecurity Pilot Program, which will purchase hardware, software, and training for IT staff. Meet the Artist. The young lady that you see on your screen is Miss Jones. Her artwork was in the Simon Reading Room display cases. She was interviewed as well as 3 other youth artists for Meet the Artist. We had a really great turnout, and there will be a little bit more about Meet the Artist at next month's board meeting. Digital checkouts tops 3 million. The library's reading app enables library cardos to access a vast collection of ebooks, audiobooks, and digital magazines for free with the library reading app. In 2021, we reached over 2 million checkouts for the first time. So congratulations on the Libby app. People really use it, and it's been going really well. The next graph I have here is the accessibility workstations. All of our locations and websites are ADA compliant. or must be ADA compliant. We offer large type ebooks, audiobooks, and CD and audio described DVDs, closed captioning DVDs, electronic books, and audiobooks for checkout. These materials can be requested for pickup at any NDPL location. So in partnership with Easter Seal Crossroads, we have installed accessibility workstations in all of our locations to ensure that all of our visitors have access to assistive technology. And if you look at the graph, you can see some of the regions have more participants who use the machine than others. We had a total of 2,791 uses of the accessibility workstations. The workstations include height adjustable desk, a large key keyboard, large print keyboard, trackball mouse with programmable buttons, and arm supports. And then the software included on each workstation is text reading app, live transcription app, math app, a magnification app, and screen reading app for blind and visually impaired individuals. Upcoming events, we have the successful grant proposal and the Indianapolis Special Collections Room on Saturday, March the 1st from 1:30 to 4 p.m. Thursday, March the 20th, we have the Marion McFadden Lecture. This event will feature a special discussion with acclaimed writer and historian Timothy Egan, author of Fever in the Heartland. A book signing will follow Timothy Egan's presentation. And then we have the Pike grand opening is scheduled for Saturday, March the 29th. And hopefully we can have some additional information on the NORA grand opening. I do believe we're supposed to receive the desk on March the 4th. And then once we actually receive the desk this time, we will have a date for the grand opening. And that concludes my CEO report. Any questions?
Sure. Yep.
You had mentioned the training for dementia and the certifications or certificates that happen. Is that happening with all of our branches?
When I talked to Stacy Hurt, who's the manager of college, she did tell me that some of the other locations were doing that as well. And I saw that for the other day when I was just putting the report together.
Yeah.
So I do believe that there's other branches will be working on that as well.
It seems as if there's such a growing interest in what's happening with dementia and paying attention to it. And so just want to hope that we can follow up and find some more information there.
Yes, ma'am, we'll do.
The other you mentioned was the National Cybersecurity Pilot. Looks like some big funding came in.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you say some more about that?
Well, if I could, I'd like to ask Shanika, could you want to give us a little additional, a little bit more additional information about that?
Thank you, Shanika. Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. So yes, we receive federal funding for the next 3 years from the FCC, and it's for our IT department to get upgraded hardware, software, and IT training so that we can actually maximize our resources to keep us safe and sound.
So there would be the kind of phishing that goes on or the types of confiscating of data or anything of that type?
Absolutely. So we get to pick all of our hardware inside. We have 529K, so we get to pick what that looks like.
It's tremendous. Thank you, Shirley.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Oh.
Is this only for digital devices or also cameras and other things like that?
It's for everything, so hardware, software, and training. So we get to decide what that, it's a pilot, so we get to decide what that looks like.
But it doesn't include cameras?
Cameras is under facilities, that's a different department. So, but if that's something that, I'm not for sure what Adam has, I don't want to.
The reason I ask is because I know there's another program that it's about cameras and things like that, so it may be a different program than this one.
Yeah, so how the library works is that we all have our own budget line items. So we only looked at the things that pertains to our line items.
Okay, thanks.
And this is a competition, right?
Yes. So,
congratulations on the competition. It's not easy to get some of the federal funding, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, you can go now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next, that concludes portion of the CEO report, but I'd like to ask Ms. Marianne McKenzie, our Strategic Planning and Assessment Officer, to give the fourth quarter statistical report. Yeah. Okay, all right.
All right. Yes.
Question. Mr. Hill, can you talk a little bit about I saw in the report the visits from the social worker team to all the 24 branches. Can you expand a little bit on that?
Well, without me trying to find it, I actually have a scheduled one-on-one with Ms. Cave tomorrow. But yeah, when I read the report, it started, I think, in the middle or the beginning of the year, and she was able to complete all of her visits to all the branches. And I actually was at a staff meeting at Martindale Brightwood when Ms. Cave joined the staff there. They had some really good questions. She covered the material that she could provide, the different types of resources. I'm pretty sure that's what we covered at all the other locations that she visited. So I think that was very impactful. And at least I know at the staff meeting at Martindale Brightwood, we had a lot of great discussion and good feedback. And thank you for the information that you gave to the staff.
Yeah, thanks for taking care of that. I liked in the report it says that you're taking care of aligning the needs of the community so that we can have access to social services at the branches. Thanks for doing that.
And I apologize for calling you Ms. Cave. I think she got married since then, so I couldn't think.
Any other questions before we move? Okay. Thank you very much, Mackenzie.
Hello, everyone. I am here to give you your favorite highlight of the quarter, the statistical report on library operations. Per usual, I gave you a bunch of detail in a longer packet, and I'm going to give you a couple of highlights just talking about some of the same statistics we track as sort of KPIs every time I present to you, and then giving you some updates. We are looking backwards for the past year, and at the end of every year, the Indiana State Library gives us some new direction on how we should have been measuring everything all year. And at that time, we sometimes get some new information on how we can better track and report our information to compare it against our peers in the state and then nationally as well through the IMLS. So I'm going to give you a couple things that we're changing in how we measure and track and report this year as well. To start off with, we're going to talk about our favorite thing, card holders. Everything that we do is leading to trying to engage more people to have a library card because we recognize the value of it. And I think a lot of the quarters that I came and presented to you this past year, I talked about how the total number of card holders was sort of going down or remaining about the same. And that's where we ended at the end of the year. But I always want to give the context here that the thing that is most meaningful when we talk about card holders is the number of current card holders who are actively borrowing, so engaging with our materials physically or online. And that number has grown. And the total number of new card holders, you heard Lindsay here talk about the number of card holders that her branch engaged this year. Those numbers are being very steady. And actually, kudos to West Perry, their number of active card holders went up from 9% to 10% of their per capita population this year due to their efforts. So we're making strides in the areas that measure. It's kind of like a little bit like a revolving door. We have some card holders who went inactive. Maybe they moved out of the city, maybe they actually stopped using their card, but we are replacing them or growing our active card holders, so the actual number that results in circulation and visits, that's growing in a positive direction. So of course we would love our inactive card holders to remain active, but all that to say this is not too alarming and we're making some great progress. And again, kudos to West Perry for growing their number this year. Now, when I talk about numbers that are, requires some context. The other one that we've talked about this year is library branch visits. So beginning at the end of 2023, we started transitioning to a new door count system, and that door count system is more accurate. But typically, when you get more accurate data, that means you are probably overcounting. We have a tendency to overestimate rather than underestimate our numbers. And our old tracker at the door was doing exactly that. So what's happened is this year you'll see that we have a 5% decrease in total branch visits, but I've really dug into that data, and as best I can tell, the things that are driving that decrease are that new tracking system. So you'll see here I have a second column that shows you branch by branch what that decrease would be. Almost all of them across the board are showing some sort of decrease. The ones that didn't were branches that didn't exist in the previous year, such as Fort Bend, or at least part of that year. Branches with broken trackers, so you see that with Beech Grove and Hallville, for example, or branches that are receiving an increase in foot traffic because of Nora and Pike being closed. So as best we can tell, the primary driver of this decrease is just more accurate data. So it's always great when we can be more accurate, even if that means the number we're polling is a little bit lower. And I'm hopeful that over the next couple of quarters, I'll be coming back to you to show, hey, now that we have this more accurate data, I can show you the impact we're having now in growing these numbers. Because we know Nora and Pike are well-loved branches, and we're expecting when they reopen, we're going to see some positive trends in this data. And then, of course, we can't talk about visits without also mentioning website visits. Our website still continues to be an incredibly popular resource and way for our patrons to engage with the library system. Another one that we saw a trend of maybe a downward trend is physical circulation. I think I told you every quarter when I came to spoke to you, it's Nora and Pike. It's very clear in the data, Nora and Pike being closed is having an impact on physical circulation. But the great news is that we've invested the time it takes to build fantastic new branches for those communities. We are positive they will be embracing them. So I hope to be able to come back to you in quarter two to say, look at all this fantastic circulation and show some growth in the coming year. And even with a 1% decrease, we are still up from where we were in 2022. And those are really strong borrowing numbers for us as a system. So we would love to see this grow. We're going to work on making it grow, and we're positive that we have the tools in front of us in the coming year to see that growth. Now, another trend all last year was me coming to you and saying, hey, this quarter, I have some new data that had changed. And I was really looking forward to coming to you this month and saying, the data hasn't changed this time. But the State Library and IMLS had slightly different plans. They have suggested that we adjust the way we measure electronic circulation. So this is the graph that I've been showing you all year, which you can see a clear trend that demand for electronic materials is increasing. This is true for our ebooks and audiobooks, and it's also true for the databases and other materials you can access online. So the take-home that is everywhere in our data is there's a growing demand for this. So the State Library and IMLS have listened to that conversation, especially because we know that those materials often have a higher cost per circulation than their physical counterparts. So they've requested that we change the way that we measure this material to more accurately capture that data so we can have a robust conversation about what this growing demand looks like. So beginning this year, I'll be presenting to you graphs such as this, where we combine ebooks, audiobooks, magazines, and video, regardless of platform, in a single column. This makes the electronic circulation very similar to the physical circulation, so I do think that this is a much stronger number to be reporting to you. But the numbers that you see reported on that left-hand column came out of the right-hand column, which is essentially previously what we were calling learning platforms, database access or material access. So when you look at this data, just keep in mind that we sort of shaved numbers off of the column on the right, add them to the column on the left. On the whole, this is a much better measurement. And I'm confident of that because if you look, if you saw on the physical circulation side, we were about mid-30s for the total number of items per active borrower. And under this new measurement, we see it's about 20 items per active borrower for electronic circulation, which really shows how the demand for these materials is keeping pace for that physical material. And again, because we know this has a large budgetary impact, I think this will give you some intuitive information about how our collections are growing and being used that hopefully will be valuable long term. In the short term, it'll be a little painful though, because I won't always be able to show you quarter to quarter or year to year growth just because we didn't gather the data in this way previously. Let's talk about something that was just positive all around. No complicated measurements. We offered more programs than we did in the previous year, and that's fantastic. Many of you I know in your professional backgrounds have worked to present programs for your communities, and you understand how much work it is to put on a successful program. And so a 10% growth, which is what we have this year, is a direct result of the fantastic efforts of our staff. And not only have we grown the total number of programs we've offered, we've also grown the total attendance across all of our programs. And the thing that I'm most proud of is that the people who attend our programs consistently give us incredibly high ratings for their experience. They tell us that they are able to use the knowledge they gain, that the programs were educational, that they enjoyed the programs. So this extra investment of staff time to present these programs is really paying off. And since I'm talking to you about the program evaluations, I'll give you a nice little hint of what I'm going to talk to you about next quarter. One thing that we did is we really looked at this evaluation. Everything that we ask has a meaning to it, but there was one piece of meaning that we saw in our new strategic plan that wasn't being reflected in the data we were gathering. And that was that idea of the sense of connection to your community, connection with others, a sense of belonging. So we are removing one question, which is the one about the confidence in the program subject, because it's very similar to knowledge gained. And we're going to be replacing it with a question that specifically asks about your experience of feeling connected with others and connected with your community in our programs. And we think that will tell us something really interesting about the impact that we're having. That's all the live slides I had for you, but of course there were many more in your packet, and I'm happy to answer questions on these live slides or the larger packet.
All right, any questions?
I'll keep it very brief. The outreach, you had the listing of the branches. You had outreach, 5,426. What is that, the count for that, and what does that refer to?
In terms of the visit count?
It was
Yeah.
outreach on the branches slide.
So that's our bookmobiles.
Okay.
Yeah, bookmobiles, we have 2 of them, and they go out into the public.
Frog and toad.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Excellent. Dr. Payne, you have 20 minutes of questions, you said? Okay. All right, any other?
It's data. I'll talk about it for 20 minutes. Just get me started.
Dr. Rillo?
I wanted to ask about the electronic circulation measurements. Does that include Mango, Canopy, Hoopla, the digital archives?
Yes.
But.
And no. Yes to most of those, no to one of those. So essentially, the way the state has us report electronic circulation, we can only count things that you have to log into with a library card. So your Hooplas, your overdrives, those get classified in there. Many of our databases as well. But 2, the ones that we maintain ourselves, the Digital Archive, Digital Indy, and Digital Encyclopedia of Indianapolis, we measure those separately because you don't have to have a library card to access them because we want them to be as low barrier as possible. So those typically are reported in a separate data point. Now, previously, I'd been reporting those under the database category, but in the coming year, I'm looking at pulling those out separately just because it is such a new measurement, and I don't want to muddy the waters about the new trends that we're seeing.
Thank you.
Excellent.
I'll take the next 18 minutes. Okay, I'll be limited to 2 minutes. I'm intrigued about adding the question about belonging. We had public commentary today, and thanks for that. And I really enjoyed listening to your commentary. And how do we capture that image of the pebble with the ripple effect with that question?
Yeah, so we wrestled with a couple options here, and one of the things about our evaluation survey is sometimes it's being completed by someone on the behalf of others. So a parent might be completing it on behalf of their child because we can't survey children. A school group might have a teacher completing it on them. So we're really looking for a question that would be at least somewhat physically observable so that someone could answer those questions. So I believe what we landed on was a Likert scale of agree to disagree on this program made me feel more connected with the other program participants or the community. So it's not a perfect measure of belonging, but it's something that we're certain that every person who completes that survey can answer.
Thank you.
Very nice. Any final questions? All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No further questions. That concludes the CEO report.
All right. Thank you. Okay. There is no unfinished business. Is there any new business? Nope. All right. Future agenda items. This time is made available for discussion of items not on the agenda which are of interest to library board members. And the opportunity is given to suggest items to be included on future library board meeting agendas. Do any of the board members have something to suggest for the March 2025 board meeting?
I asked our CEO to share something about the youth programming and how it's tied to the arts. There's so much about STEM these days, and we put A into the word STEM and say STEAM, but the arts are so important, just as was talked about here in terms of the creative arts. And so I'd like to know more about what ways we're approaching that work. And Mr. Hill said he would share some more about that and gave me contacts as well.
Excellent. All right. Anything else?
I second that.
All right. That is now, it's been seconded. Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. The next board meeting is going to be Monday, March 24th, 2025 at Central Library, located at 40 East St. Clair Street at 6:30 p.m. There being no other business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Can I so move?